Holiday. He just moved to Detroit at that time.
No,
okay.
KJ didn't move to Detroit till like 0102. When I left Virginia, KJ was still here.
Okay, when I moved to Detroit, Michael Saunders was the PD, and then KJ came in after that.
Right.
So right after that, I know KJ put in that I don't wanna be without you, and I was like, what the hell song is this? And why is he playing? That's a smash. So I don't know when Aaliyah was ever off of
Let's go with Romeo Must Die was 2000. So we still kind of written around.
Okay.
All right, but think about it. She did this. Is how I'm saying she didn't fall off at that space because Romeo Must Die. They put her in a movie. They turned around and put her in Queen of the Damned.
That was the disaster, right?
But
there.
Yeah,
they had to say that because that was after she passed.
But she was in like 3 films, like Boom Boom Boom. Right?
What film? I only remember Romeo Must Die and Queen of the Damned.
There was another film like Romeo Must Die. No, it was a film where she was a dancer.
A dancer?
Like a high school.
Like a stripper?
No, like a high school, like the
Bring It
Marion type dancers or something like that.
I don't remember that.
I don't know.
I need to IMBD that.
But then she, like you said, she had the little run with Missy and Old Boy, Baby Girl. Say what?
Yeah,
that was nuts.
But what you talking about? What, across the country though, Lamont? Because I can only speak for Detroit.
I'm just telling you, I remember the millions and millions of calls that I had to get on, and they was like, "Yo, this is not together." I mean, she just was not as well accepted at a period of time than everybody thinks she was. Hold on, Maynard. Are you talking about a soundtrack, or are you talking about she was in another movie?
She was in. Oh, okay. She was in. No, she was only in those 2 movies. My bad.
Right. She was on a bunch of soundtracks.
Yeah.
But she wasn't in any other movie. Okay.
That's right.
But I'm just saying, like, she wasn't as beloved while she was alive as a lot of people like.
I don't see how anybody could say that Aaliyah was not beloved when she was alive.
She was special.
She probably wasn't as accepted because of the culture at that time, and she probably was lost in the sauce. But
and again, maybe again, I'm just coming from a musical Spud play my record in power rotation. You know what I'm saying? Now, outside of that, you're right. That's a different conversation. But I remember a lot of people were like, "No, Lamont, this record ain't it. Nope, this ain't it. Leah's over. It's a wrap. See you later."
I just don't see what One in a Million was a smash. More Than a Woman is a smash. I mean,
More Than a Woman was a
are you
smash?
that?
Are you that somebody?
Smash.
Well, again,
Come Back is a smash.
Come Back in One Piece.
Wait. Now,
Piece is a smash.
Wait. Y'all were just talking about having a 12-year-old. What kind of fancy scotch you drink, Maynard?
Oh, I was like 12-year-old. Hold on.
No, yeah. See, why y'all minds always in the gutter? What's the fancy? You said Ariana Grande? Did you say that?
No. We said Kelly with a 12-year-old, but we haven't no 12-year-old.
I like Johnny Walker. If I can get the blue, I get the blue.
Okay. So how long does it take blue to get to the blue status or whatever the distilling process? How many years is that?
I think it's 23.
Okay, so here's my question. That same bottle of blue at 23 years, in year number 2, it's probably not going to taste the same. Am I right?
Nah, you probably are right.
So what I'm saying is with Aaliyah, sometimes when these records were first getting started and getting their legs, it just was a lot of resistance. That's all I'm saying. That I know firsthand. It's like, nah, this is whack. Get her out of here.
You know what? I understand. I mean, once you put it in liquor terms, it all made sense. I mean, I don't hear well unless you're talking about liquor. So,
unless you talk about that pretty brown.
You know what, man? Listen, I'm having a tough time. So let's. Okay, all right, okay.
All right, I'm gonna run this intro. Y'all cool with that?
Yes, we can start the podcast now.
Here we go.
Guys with the Mic, the podcast for politics, hip-hop, and the urban community. Spudd is here, Lamont is here, and Maynard is in the building. Make sure you go to our Facebook page and get in on the conversation. We love to hear from everybody. We respond to everybody. We love the dialogue, so keep the dialogue coming. Shout out to everybody who's been on the Facebook page. You can go to facebook.com/3blackguyswiththemic. You can also get in on our YouTube channel. Just go to YouTube, search in 3 Black Guys with a Mic. 3, the number 3, Black Guys with the Mic. Get in on the conversation on our YouTube page as well. We drop episodes every Tuesday. Today, we got a lot to talk about. Let me just warn you right now. Brace yourself. Brace yourself today. Sit back because we got a long episode today. Long episode. We going long. Don't look like that, Lamont. We going long today. We got a lot to discuss. Got a lot to get out.
I got some stuff on the grill, my dude.
Hey, yo, it's going to burn right now. You better put that get on a slow cooker. Turn that temperature down. We got a lot to discuss today. I don't even know where to start. Okay. I don't know where to start.
Well, start wherever you feel.
Let's start with Aretha Franklin. Now on
Lamont,
Thursday,
your man is still disrespectful.
I'm not being disrespectful. On Thursday, Lamont said, look, we got to have an emergency podcast to talk about Aretha. And I was a little, I was dissing a little bit. But after watching the actual service, I was like, wow, it really is amazing to be able to see not just Detroit, but the people from Detroit, and the people who love Aretha just show out, come through, and really show their love and their support for the Queen of Soul. Detroit looked fantastic, all the pink Cadillacs. And I was asking, my wife, I was like, man, who's next to be able to have this type of ceremony?
Nobody.
I mean, I don't know anybody else who can have a ceremony at this level across the country, Stevie. In London. I mean, we're everywhere. Even Stevie, I don't even know Stevie can have this type of Smokey. I don't know if Smokey can have type of, love. I don't even know. I was thinking to myself, in 30 years, 40 years, would I be sitting back watching Beyonce's funeral on TV like the Queen of Soul? I don't know. Who else can have a homegoing that big?
Stevie.
You think so?
Yeah, Stevie. He's a musical genius.
He is a musical genius, but I don't know who's gonna show up for Stevie like they showed up for Aretha. They showed up for Aretha.
That's true.
Can I give out some cactus though?
Okay, go ahead. I mean, I'll give you the leverage.
Give out. Can you just give me some love on some cactus? Lamont, just bear with me. Just be easy. All right. Other than the fact that we started late, that was going to be it's season time. That's what it's going to be. All right?
Oh.
We knew it was going to be 7 hours. It is what it is. Do your thing. However, I got to give out some cactus first to Shaka Khan. Shaka Khan, come on. You don't know the lyrics to Going Up to Yonder? Why you don't know the lyrics to Going Up to Yonder? All these years, all these funerals, you don't know the lyrics to Going Up to Yonder, that you got to put the lyrics on the back of the actual fan to read the lyrics on live TV? Shaka, you got to get some cactus, baby. You got to get some cactus. I'm sorry.
Yo, that's not. That's. Come on, that's Shaka Khan, dude.
Maynard, listen. If I die, and I say, man, I know you don't sing, but I need you to sing Lost Ones by Jay-Z at my funeral. You better go Google the lyrics. Go get them lyrics, Google the lyrics, and study them lyrics while you're on the plane coming to Detroit. Not a good look, Shaka. Not a good look. Can I keep going? Or should I just stop right there?
I imagine you're going to do it anyway, so
good.
Go ahead.
More cactus. Reverend Jasper, you got to get some cactus too. You know that we've been in that dang on Greater Grace for 8 hours already, and here you come with a 1 hour sermon on Aretha Franklin that ain't had nothing to do with Aretha Franklin. Why are you now, I ain't mad at what you had to say. Now, what you had to say was good. I agree with everything you had to say, Reverend Jasper. But it's a little too long. We was tired. We was ready to go. We ain't had nothing to eat. Everybody helping Jesse Jackson up. Jesse Jackson can't get up. He got to go to the bathroom 7 times. Jesse, I love you too. I love what you had to say. But you got to get a little cactus. I need you to sit down, Jesse. You can't get up for everything. You can't clap. You can't stand for what everybody has to say. Now, I'm sorry, but you got to sit down somewhere. The Parkinson's, we know you got it. You got to sit down, Jesse. You can't get up. You can't do this.
Oh, wow. He went in on Jesse's Parkinson's.
I know you got Farrakhan helping you up. You got Clinton helping you up. Everybody helping you up. Jesse, I need you to sit down just a little bit. Can I keep going? I got more cactus.
The floor is yours, sir.
Yeah, go ahead, brother. It's all
Cicely
you.
Tyson, I want to give you some cactus, but I'm going to lay off of you because you're 90. But that speech you gave, I was a little lost. So, Cicely, I want to give you some cactus, but I'm not. I'm just going to let you pass because.
Okay.
All right. Now, I got some more cactus. Can we continue on? I got more cactus.
I don't know if there's any cactus left.
Listen, I got 2 more cactus. Whoever said that Bishop Ellis had to apologize to Ariana Grande for touching her boob, you got to get some cactus. What are you talking about? Bishop Ellis, come on, man. I know Bishop Ellis. He ain't out here he ain't no boob touching. He ain't boob touching and all that. That was an accident. Now, you might get a little cactus for saying that, he thought that it was a meal from Taco Bell. But other than that, here's my last cactus. And I'm done with this. Maynard Lamont, I want to know how you feel. I was a little mad at the fact that nobody, I don't understand how anybody could allow for Minister Farrakhan to sit on the stage the entire time and not let Minister Farrakhan speak. Why would Minister Farrakhan not be able to say something about Aretha? He had an encounter with Aretha. He knew Aretha. He gave out Final Calls newspapers to everybody in the city that he saw, or I guess the, Nation of Islam saw, to, people with Aretha on it. I'm like, why is Minister Farrakhan not speaking? He deserves that respect. I don't know why in the hell Mildred Gaddis is up there speaking and Minister Farrakhan ain't speaking. I'm just saying Minister Farrakhan deserves some time at the Aretha Franklin funeral. I'm done now. Gentlemen. Hi, guys.
Flag on the play. Flag on the play. Wait a minute. You ain't going to be talking about Mildred Gaddis like this.
Yes, I am.
We're not going to have
Spud.
Come closer to the camera.
I know Mildred Gaddis don't like me. I'm not dissing Mildred Gaddis. All I'm saying is
Mildred Gaddis is my friend.
Who would you rather see? Mildred Gaddis or Minister Farrakhan? Minister Farrakhan deserves 3 minutes up there. And Mildred Gaddis had 7 minutes. I'm like, what? Mildred Gaddis has 7 minutes.
Mildred Gaddis is the voice of Detroit.
Not no more. Listen, Mildred Gaddis ain't on no station. So, at the end of the day, let me ask you a question.
Maynard Scales going to have to smack a bitch?
Man, I'm just saying.
All right,
am I wrong or am I wrong?
All right, so
does Maynard Scales have to smack a bitch?
Wait. So here, let me say this. I felt the same way that Spud felt in terms of the minister, but here's what I found out, is that he specifically said he did not want to speak. He specifically said that he wanted to be there to pay respects and also enjoy the service. Now, here's my question, because again, Spud, at first glance, I said the same thing. I said that when the minister gets up there, he about to tear that church apart. I said, I already knew that's what he's getting ready to do. And I almost feel like, and this is my personal opinion, he might have showed up the Jasper pastor who, somebody tried to come for me on Facebook and I had to block somebody for the first time this weekend because I'm glad and I understand that was Aretha's wish, but I'm glad that he's probably packed up his bags and he's going back down to the backwoods of Georgia, wherever he come from, because I thought that eulogy that he gave was horrific. It was not appropriate. It was also, to me, it was almost as inappropriate as Ariana Grande's dress. Okay? Now, what he said was, okay, I got you. but I don't know if that was the venue. It almost was like he had a moment where it wasn't Detroit, it just wasn't the United States, but that people from around the world saw that funeral. So maybe that was his shot on that. Okay, fine. So park that. My issue was, and I know y'all always talk about me of dropping, what's the word I'm looking for? That I'm not clout chasing, but I'm dropping.
You're a name dropper. You're a name dropper.
Yeah, there you go, name dropper.
Low key name dropper. Coming in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Lamont.
So I had an issue with why did I not see Barack Obama or Michelle Obama? And everybody was like, oh, well, he had to do the John McCain thing and boom, 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 boom. Now, here's the name dropping I'm going to do. I personally do not know Barack or Michelle Obama. Have I met them? Absolutely. Prior and during he was president, yes. But he don't know me from a can of paint. But what I do know and who I do have is relationships with certain people that are around him from a whole Chicago connection, whatever. And I had to ask the question, why did that man disrespect the woman who every time he called upon her, she showed up? When he needed Riri to do A, B, C, D, and E.
To work for him?
No. It wasn't working.
I'm just kidding.
No. I was like, how is it that X, Y, and Z? And the answer that I was given, and then at the end of the answer, I was told something made a whole lot of sense in the world, which is the same, I think, with Farrakhan. Is that let me finish.
No, wait. You're not going to dance around.
No,
what was the answer? Okay, we got to get to that answer. Because we got to see, because Michael Eric Dyson, all the Republicans and the alt-right saying that, Michael Eric Dyson called out Barack for, not being there.
Oh, no, right. And that's part of probably an alleged whatever. But here's what I'll say, and I think we have to also put Oprah in the same bag, because if you notice, O was not there.
Now, wasn't she supposed to be there?
Get to the answer. Just give us the answer, my dude.
No, man.
Hey, we going long today. We going long today. We gotta unpack this today.
Right. This answer.
No. So the answer is that some things have to be done in private, and we can't do everything in public for certain things that are trying to get done.
Well, let me
like what? We about to have a Aretha Franklin holiday or something?
No, some things are not always directed like that, but I guess that there are other agendas that are much bigger than that 6 or 7 hour funeral that you have to just be careful how you do and handle different things. I mean, even to me, just a small little thing with Ariana Grande, and I know some people are going to get on a Facebook page to talk about, oh, Lamont, that's part of rape culture. And I'm like, what? Rape culture? This preacher, now again, we can say we want to say about the Taco Bell comment, because I believe in my heart that I don't even think he was trying to be malicious.
No.
Why?
Not Bishop Ellis.
Hell no.
He probably don't even know Ariana Grande who she is.
Let's be 100. I forgot that was the girl that had where all of the people got killed. Was it in London or somewhere?
Manchester.
I even forgot. I don't know who Ariana Grande is. Now that might be Maynard's cup of tea. That might be what's in his top 10 on his playlist when he's driving to work every morning. Maynard, is that true? See, it's Joy and Reed wasn't there, so he don't get excited. You know what I'm saying? That's what it was. You know what I'm saying? And he got mad. But actually, man, you didn't even watch the funeral, did you?
No.
Wow.
I watched parts of it here and there, but no. I mean, I had other things to do.
Like what? What did you have to do, man?
There's a lot to do in 7.5 hours. There's a lot. I might have to floss. How about that? I'm just saying. I respect Aretha. I've been saying that about Aretha. I'm not going to sit around. I'm not watching her funeral.
But I'm just asking, what did you do? Did you watch John McCain's funeral?
No.
Okay.
I watched clips of John McCain's funeral the way I watched clips of Aretha's funeral. I just can't spend that much time with it.
Did you enjoy John McCain's funeral?
I've never enjoyed a funeral. I'm not sure if I mean, I've been to funerals where the homegoing was very spirited. The music was definitely better at Aretha's than John McCain's, I'm just saying. But this is what I think about the Barack thing. And this is important to note, because this is the challenge that black people face. First of all, 3 things that we need to talk about here. Donald Trump.
Wait. And we need to talk about it because you said so, right? Because when Spud said we were unpacking, and you was like, "Oh, we need to hurry up," so now it's stuff that we need to talk about. So you go ahead, because we need to talk about it now. Go ahead.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Is there a way that we can mute his mic? So one is John McCain. No, we ain't doing that. We ain't doing that. Nuh-uh. Come on, bring your tail parts back.
I mean, you said you wanted me to mute my mic. You don't want me to mute the mic.
I don't like that. I don't like that.
Okay.
I don't like that.
You told me to mute the mic.
I'm afraid that you're going to leave I'm afraid that you're going to bounce and try to, get your Bobby Brown on. I don't want that for you.
Hey, you know what? Somebody called me Bobby Brown on the Facebook. I'm the least Bobby Brown of the crew. I just wanted to whoever said that, I'm the least Bobby Brown of the three. Anyway, go ahead, Maynard.
John McCain spoke to and specifically asked Barack and George W. Bush to come speak. So we understood that. We understood that in advance. So he gave his word to this man. And Bill Clinton, for instance, Bill Clinton could have been at the Aretha Franklin funeral and went out in the back of the church and shot craps with the homies and ate chicken with the fried chicken with the hot sauce and got out there and did the wobble. And they'd be like, "Oh, that's Bill Clinton. He's cool." If Barack did that, they'd be like, "Look at this nigga here."
Yeah, but Maynard, can I? No, I know, but listen,
speaking. I know, but okay.
No.
Go ahead.
There were people. We were having this exchange, and they were having this conversation. They said the same thing you said, and I just want to interject because I want to hear the rest of your thing. But I think that is the biggest crock of horse shit when people say, "Well, he asked, John McCain asked him to speak at his funeral." Now, the funeral was Saturday, right? So you mean to tell me, and I wanted to do this list, and I'm not going to read all 28 things, but I'm going to read like 3. So you mean to tell me the same man that rescued the country from the Great Recession, cutting unemployment from 10% to 4%, the same man that signed the Affordable Care Act, the same man that ended the war in Iraq, that ordered the capture and killing of Osama bin Laden, that passed the $787 billion America Recovery and Reinvestment Act, and we can go on and on and on.
I was about to say, I thought you were only going to read 3.
No. You mean to tell me he couldn't get his monkey ass in Detroit on Friday? And did in D.C. on Saturday? No. Hold up. That was my pre-conversation. So y'all need to stop talking about, well, John McCain asked him to speak. So you mean to tell me the dude that was the president of the United States, hell, I could get up in the morning and be in 4 cities in one day. Jay-Z, when he did his last hangar tour, he used to do 6 cities in a day. So all that foolishness, well, John McCain asked him, I don't care nothing about that, dog.
So what
that
I'm
don't make sense.
Okay, so what I'm trying to say is,
so let's just take that out of the conversation.
All right.
Monkey.
Jeez. Oh, my God.
He had to be at his funeral. You dumbass. It was on Saturday. It wasn't on Friday.
Whoa.
I'm sorry. Okay,
all right. Where's the spray bottle? Spray my man down a little bit.
That's what we're doing now? We calling it, hold on, wait a minute. We got a whole, the funerals, we got a whole other issue. We are calling the first black president of the United States, Barack Obama, the monkey ass, stupid ass, all these kinds of asses? No. Well, we not, listen, Mildred Gaddis might not should have been up there.
We not going to.
Mildred Gaddis might not should have been up there, but we not going to be calling Barack Obama the monkey ass.
Wait. And Maynard, and Spud was 100% wrong. And listen, and I'm gonna keep it 100. After she got off that podium, I text Mildred and I said, you know what, Mildred? That was your girl, and I think that you made her proud. That lady stood up there because that was her girl. Like
I ain't mad at that. I'm not mad at the fact that, listen, I'm not mad. I understand. I know that, Mildred and Aretha go back. There's plenty of people who go back with Aretha. Right. I'm not hating on Mildred being on the stage. All I'm saying is, and thank you so very much. No. I'm not hating on Mildred being on the stage. I was just asking, and thank you, Lamont, for clearing that up about Minister Farrakhan, because the entire time I was watching, I kept saying, I don't understand why I'm watching Minister Farrakhan on the stage and this man ain't gonna speak. My wife and I was sitting there watching. I was like, I'm gonna be pissed if Minister Farrakhan don't say nothing. So thank you for clearing that up. that he said he didn't want to speak. I didn't know that part. Yeah, so I was just saying I would have rather seen Minister Farrakhan than Mildred Gaddis. I would have rather seen Minister Farrakhan than about 50 other people that was up there as well. Now, I ain't mad at that, so I apologize. I apologize, Mildred Gaddis, for not showing you some respect.
No, you always show respect, but I agree. Even that old country backwoods preacher who did the eulogy,
I would have seen Minister Farrakhan could have got
up there. He could have did that.
Right. He could have did that for 3 minutes. Yes. He could say, listen, Reverend Jasper, let me get this 3 minutes. You go on and, you know, right. Somebody should have at least been able to say, you know what? I yield my time to Minister Farrakhan. I yield my time. Yes, okay? All right. Yep. Sorry, can we double back to Maynard?
Yeah, go ahead, Maynard. It's on you, man.
All I'm saying is there are things that Barack has to do that other people can't do. And there are things that other people can do that Barack can't. He can't look any kind of way because they will attach. This is how black people are. This is, he's an N-word. I don't even say N-word. They're going to call him a nigger. They're going to call him, they're going to come at him crazy. Because if he was in Detroit and if anything would have happened and he didn't have the best possible speech he could have given for John McCain, if he, got air sick, got a cold, anything, they'd be like, that nigga, this, that. So you understand that Bill Clinton could do all those things. Bill Clinton could have been at Motor City Casino till 2:00 in the morning drinking cognac with the homies, and then stepped up into McCain's joint with a 5:00 shadow and belched at people, and they'd be like, "Oh, look at Bill, he's just amazing." They won't let Barack don't have that luxury. He's got to walk a straighter, more narrow path. That's an issue. There's also a thing that's very important. More than that, just to kind of transition to McCain and what's being said, the idea that he had George W. Bush and Barack speak, and obviously we know not Bill Clinton, not Bill Clinton. I'm sorry, Donald Trump speak. And really, at the end of the day, what that really says is something that people say all the time. Donald Trump, he ain't my president. And that's pretty much what he was saying. Donald Trump is not my president. That's a big statement. In depth, the man said that Donald Trump ain't my president. Now, going back to Ariana Grande, I think old boy really did what, you know what I'm saying? I think he did.
Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
He did kind of fill that up a little bit.
Don't you do that. Don't you do that.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
I'm sorry. I got to go back to the Barack thing because I'm kind of on the side with Lamont and Michael Eric Dyson. Now, I understand your point in regards to, there are certain things that Barack can't do that the rest of the presidents can do. But I don't think that we need to apply that to paying your respect. At the end of the day, I think it is worse for him to send a letter and be available than to not show up.
How do we know? But we don't know he was available. Wait. We don't know he was available.
Okay, regardless. Okay, cool. It still looks bad on sending a letter than to not showing up. Here's what I think, and we can debate this out. Here's what it looks like to me. It looks like, I need for Black America to show up for me, but I'm not necessarily knowing if I can show up for Black America. That's what it looks like to me. Now, I don't believe that that's what the message that he was sending, but that's just what it looks like. And I think that even if he just would have came for 5 minutes and just said his piece and got it back on the jet, it was gone. If Michelle would have been there, if Sasha or Malia would have been there, any form of representation from the Obamas to me would have made it look better rather than a letter. I just think that the letter was, which going back to, Lamont's point, that should have been in private. Let me send you this letter in private. Everything is all great, but I got to show up. Not just for Aretha, but I got to show up because Black America is watching. I got to represent, going back to Michael Eric Dyson's point, this is Detroit. This is blackness. You got to get up all in this blackness. You got to show some love for the blackness. And while I understand, even going back to, Trayvon Martin, and even, and everybody gave him. So I understand your point when, you're saying there's some things he can't do. And he made that Trayvon Martin comment. White America went after him. But there's just some things I think that you just got to be able to bite the bullet for and say, I got to show up for my people, man. I got to be there to be able to represent. And I just think that it just was a little bit, would have liked to see you there.
How many years was Aretha Franklin the Queen of Soul?
Technically, and I wrote a piece on this, she was titled that, given that title actually in Chicago in 1967.
In 1967, LBJ was president. Nixon would soon become president. Gerald Ford would be president. Jimmy Carter would become president. Ronald Reagan was president. Bush the father was president. Clinton was president. Bush the son was president. All those men were president. How many of them gave Aretha Franklin an award at the White House?
So Spud. So Spud.
Which
I guess
one?
So did Maynard get like an A in civics class? You see how he named all the presidents?
I know the presidents.
Okay, cool.
George Bush the son gave her the award, right? Didn't he give her the medal? I don't think that's still a little bit besides the point.
What I'm saying is Barack honored her previously while she was alive, gave her the Medal of Freedom.
Let me just say this, man. If I die, when I die, and your monkey ass ain't there, and you send a letter, I'm coming for you.
I'm not sending a letter.
I'm coming for you.
I'm a Donald Trump you. I'm going to tweet you.
So Spud, here's what I say to the people that think like Maynard, is that they use that excuse. Well, he gave her this, he did that. He had to be out there in D.C. And it's just two things I'm going to say. I get it. And again, once it was explained to me why he didn't show, and once it was also said to me very specifically, Lamont, some things are done and will be done in private. I get that too. But I do think Barack could have did a different balance. Because I always say on this podcast, y'all laugh at me, is that the white man's ice is colder. Because Henry Kissinger, who is a convicted war criminal, am I correct, Maynard?
Henry Kissinger?
Yes.
No, I don't believe so.
I'm going to look that up in a minute because I remember seeing that. In certain countries of the world that he can't go to because he is, I think it was the United Nations that convicted him. So, but they have no teeth, so to speak. But Henry, he bops around and he does what he got to do and whatever because he got a price on his head. But give me a minute, we're going to go through that. But Barack was seen as, okay, you can go over there and play in their sandbox with those people. All of those Republicans that are trying to, corrupt the country, that are allowing this whole Donald Trump thing to go down. But you can't come, over here on 7 Mile and rock with us. Now, again, I think he could have did something before the funeral because maybe he didn't step into the church. I get that. He probably was told that some people in that church were toxic because y'all got to remember, he got a library to open. You know that, right?
Of course. He's a
president. He got $500 million. And they working on it right now. All you got to do is Google in Chicago, the Times, the Tribune. They working through all that right now. So Barack got a lot of other stuff going on, and I get it. I ain't tripping. But he could have did more than send the letter.
I mean, he sent the video to the chosen few DJs. He could have sent the video. He could have did a video.
All right. Okay.
Don't get all pissed off. It's just facts. It's just truth.
You know why?
Nobody's pissed off.
Don't get all in your feelings.
No.
Do you love me?
Right.
Are you writing?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, don't get all in your feelings.
Right. So why Joy Reid didn't show up?
Black president.
Why would Joy Reid show up? She has nothing to do with this.
Karen Hunter was there.
Was she?
Karen wanted to be there.
I think so.
Bevy Smith was there. I know that for sure.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. I mean, Aretha, rest in peace. Let me just go. Let me just kind of bring this all back around. Regardless of why Barack didn't show up and all the cactuses that I gave out. Listen, at the end of the day,
there won't be a cactus
shout out to everybody.
There won't be a cactus for me today.
At the end of the day, everybody showed out. It was a flawless funeral. It looked great. Detroit looked good. It was just an amazing way to send her off. It didn't feel like a funeral. It did feel like a 7-hour concert, family reunion style, and it was good. Regardless of what anybody was saying, all the controversy that they was giving, Bill Clinton sitting next to Minister Farrakhan. It was good to see Minister Farrakhan sitting next to Bill Clinton. Regardless of however y'all want to paint Minister Farrakhan's done a lot for the black community. And I just think that, it's unfortunate that the alt-right has to, paint it in that way. It wasn't even alt-right, it was just people, period. But at any rate, it was good to be able to have that service. Let's get into care or don't care, ladies and gentlemen. This is the stories that's going on in the world that we possibly care about or we actually do care about. Let's start off with Kanye West. Was that GCI?
Yeah, he's at GCI.
We maybe care. We care about or we don't care about. Thank you so very much. What's that boy? Kanye West was at GCI. He apologized for his slavery comment. Maynard, you care or you don't care?
I don't care, man. First of all, he apologized by saying, anytime somebody made this statement as well, anytime somebody starts by saying, I'm sorry for how this may have made you feel or apologizing that way, means that you're really not apologizing. Just step up and say, you know what, I was just wrong. If it hurts your feelings or if it didn't hurt your feelings, I can recognize I'm man enough to say I'm wrong. And then that crying and then to say, if it won't for, if Don C was there, he keeps me from doing this and and Manop is now he's back to managing me now and Manop wasn't there to, make sure I didn't, my dude, you're 40 some years of age. You have got to take responsibility for yourself. If you're having an issue, if you're having episodes where you need your medicine, get your medicine. I don't know what it is. You got enough money that you can have all the doctors and diagnose you properly and get you the whatever it is you need. You need medical marijuana, then get you some medical marijuana. I don't know, but shut up.
Lamont? I don't know if you're muted or not.
He's properly lotioned, though. I can tell you that. He is properly lotioned.
Well, here's the thing. I think historically, we as the blacks, because that's what we are, right?
The black delegation.
Yeah, I mean, we always forgive. I mean, the reality of, and I know we finished with Aretha, but I'm not. Is that.
Not that with Aretha.
Right.
Listen, the funeral was too long already. Let's let Aretha flip.
Because again, to me, Aretha means something. You know what I'm saying? And it's a Detroit thing. You know what I'm saying? So it's more than just the music. But and this is where Maynard, because he gets better grades in civics than I do. Under the regime of
still getting grades in civics, Maynard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Under Bill Clinton, wasn't it? I want to say I read that there were more black men that were put in jail than, I don't know, any other president in a certain particular time period. Wasn't the incarceration rate really high up under Bill Clinton? Is that about right, Maynard?
3 strikes.
I'm trying to figure out where are we? I didn't read that part of the notes. Was that the notes? Hold on, let me check the notes.
No, but I'm trying to get back to Kanye.
So then go ahead to Kanye. Keep going.
No. But I like to. It's not just small-minded, man. We have to bring things from a broader perspective. So what I'm saying about Bill is, we let Bill come. We let Bill come to the church. We look at Bill up in the vineyard, with Vernon. You know what I'm saying? He in the Soul Train line. You feel what I'm saying? I ain't supposed to say that. I ain't supposed to be dropping names, but I mean, it's like we forgave Bill, so why not forgive Kanye? That's what the blacks do. When people do us wrong, treat us bad, we say it's okay. Isn't that what you do, Maynard?
I'm trying to figure out. Hey, let's back up and let's try to figure out how we can keep this from being personal. I'm not trying to get all in your ish like that.
When it become personal, I'm just saying.
Ain't that what you do, Maynard? Like, whoa, my dude, it's 3 black guys. We're like a team.
Right,
apparently
but
you want to just shoot at me. Did I do
no,
something to you?
No, that's what the blacks do. And Spudd is just as well.
When, I like that girl. You like that girl. You had that girl.
Whoa! What
it
girl?
It happened. I'm
what
talking
girl?
about way back. I'm talking about 20, 30 years ago.
Okay. Okay. Cool.
I'm
all right.
way before that.
Okay.
I forgive you. You're right. I forgave you, Lamont, and I don't speak of it no more. That's okay.
What does that have to do with Kanye?
You asked me, and you said, ain't that what you do? Don't you forgive people? I forgive you. You're right. I forgive you.
Oh, Wait a minute. You just threw something back at me. I tried to throw at you, and I ain't even get it. I'm like, he's not targeted. Okay, no, you're right.
No, but I'm just saying the reason why I don't want to give Kanye a pass is it's not one time. It's first of all, do we believe do we believe with 100% of our heart and our mind that Kanye did not do that? Black people chose slavery as a choice or whatever, blah, 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 foolishness, and there was no stunt involved. If we believe that he really just felt this kind of way and it was just on his heart and he was just speaking his mind and there was no stunt at all involved, then you know what? He probably deserves some forgiveness. But do you think for just a little bit had to do with him coming out with an album?
I mean, regardless of if it was a stunt or if it was just ignorance, that type of comment should have never came out of Kanye's mouth, period. And I think it's really unfortunate that, to Lamont's point, that us as the blacks, this is what we do, something happens to us, and then we forgive.
Is that Lamont's
point? His
point trying to just take me down. I mean, I don't understand. It was a setup from the beginning.
His point is,
first of all, no, I got something to say. I'm going to get this off my damn chest. First of all, you came at me about civics. You talking about my civics lessons and everything. I was very good in civics, Lamont. I don't appreciate that.
Okay.
I'm hurt by that. These comments hurt me more than anyone else.
But you know what it really is?
Can I say the point?
What?
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I heard Lamont say we can forgive Bill Clinton,
right,
but we can't forgive Kanye. We can forgive John McCain to show up at the funeral,
right,
but we can't forgive Kanye.
We were at
the I'm sorry. I thought John McCain was like a racist. Didn't he have some racist, energy at one point in time? I could be reaching here, but I felt like John McCain wasn't on the team.
Let's go back to Kanye. Kanye, Omarosa, Chrisette Michelle, and all the rest of the blacks that decided that they were going to take a chance on Donald Trump to try to push the envelope of diversity, and we all can think differently. This is what happens when you support this type of president. You go off on a limb, you see that the blacks are not going to forgive you. Somebody who is a strategist and a publicist comes in and says, yo, you got to go back to the blacks and you got to apologize because they're going to forgive you. Now everybody's going to be like, oh, but Kanye, he apologized on his hometown radio station because he didn't need to go to GCI for that. He could have went on his Twitter or Snapchat or wherever. He could have went back to TMZ where he should have went and sat down with Van and said, Van, my bad, man. You were right. I was wrong. I should definitely apologize for that. I see how that situation came out. It's all my fault. I see how you can see that. I see how I can make you feel. No, you messed up and it's all good. Apologize. But when you side with this president and you think that it's okay because you're trying to push the envelope, you see what happens. Now you got to come back. Maynard, to your point, no, you can't get a pass.
You can't get a pass.
You can't get a pass.
And in addition to all of that, I still believe there was some stunt involved with all of that, and that makes it worse. Because if you believe that up is down and that's just in your brain somehow that's just your thing, I get it. But if you're trying to promote that up is down simply because you have another agenda underlying agenda, then you're not to be trusted. That means that you will sell us out for some shekels. Lamont.
What's a shekel?
I mean, check your pockets and see if you got some in there.
But you know what?
You sold me down the road today.
Wow. So this is what I'm going to say about Kanye, man. We can leave it alone. And I think it's a lot of artists, man. I just wish we can get away from all of this interview and just go make some records, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, unfortunately, we look to Kanye for life advice. Not us personally on this podcast, but a lot of people. And I think that's what's wrong. It's like, who cares what he does? Let him go walk around with his big oversized shoes. And if he wants to cry and all that, man, Go on about your business. I'm like Maynard. I got to get a pedicure at 2:30. You know what I'm saying? So
I had my pedicure yesterday. But speaking of pedicures, I was sitting there and I was just like thinking, like, you know what? I wonder how the music went from love and respect and happiness and joy to this type of, music. I was watching Mike Epps and he was like, I wonder how the music went to, oh, girl, you would be in trouble if I left her. I was getting some head. And I was like,
that was kind of low-key dope remix right there. You were right in.
He was right. But he was right in the situation. And I'm even, driving, I was like, sitting there listening to music that made you just feel good. And, back in the, 60s and 70s, the music was about, I'm trying to get the girl. I'm trying to go out. I'm trying to have a good time. I lost her. I'm trying to get her back. And the women were singing about love and I like a boy and, wish the boy was courting me and, R-E-S-P-E-C-T and ain't nothing going on but the rent. And now everything is about bitch, hoe, fuck, shit, all that stuff. I don't understand how that changed. But
you know what? And during all that time, there was heroin, there was cocaine, there was crime.
Right.
So the whole idea, like, well, things are more real now. There was we've had some, the days of Frank Lucas, Bumpy
Nicky
Wilson,
Barnes,
all those, Larry Davis, all these cats sold dope and were running the streets and all these kinds of things. And that happened. And it's not like all of a sudden we discovered selling dope in the past, 15, 20 years or whatever. So you're right.
It's just crazy, man. I mean, you
couldn't play hip hop
during that time. You still had James Brown singing about Black and Proud. You got Gil Scott-Heron talking about the revolution. I mean, now it's just totally different. I mean, and that's really unfortunate. Speaking about albums, Kamikaze, Eminem dropped a new album. Care or don't care.
This album's major.
Shady's back.
It's
back
major.
again.
Nobody's safe out here. If you are a rapper under the age of probably, let's say, 32 years of age, you need to guard your grill because Shady he's throwing haymakers.
Lamont?
Did you hear the album, Lamont?
Oh, absolutely.
What'd you think? He came at your homies.
No comment.
That's what getting the check and make you do, huh?
No, that's what, having to come back on 7 Mile and Myers will make you do.
No comment.
Yo, well, let me what's your thoughts,
the Godfather came to me and he was like, yo, they don't live here. Nigga, you live here. Okay.
No comment.
I think that the album is great. I'm glad that Eminem, is back. I'm glad that, I like that Eminem came back at this time. I feel like, going back to what we were just, sometimes you need for like Eminem or Nas or Jay to come back and really balance out, all this nonsense that's going on in the world. And I'm not dissing anybody, that's out right now. I'm not a fan of the new music. I like the new music. So I like, Future. I like Jeezy. I like Gucci Mane. I mean, I like, Migos. I like those, artists. I'm not fans of those artists. I'm fans of Eminem. I'm a fan of Jay-Z. I wish right now a Redman and Method Man album can come out. You just need that balance. And I think that when we talked about, with Paul Porter, that's the problem. There isn't enough balance in the music industry right now. I'm sure Lamont can, speak more to this. But when you look at the charts right now, I'm sorry, this is probably over a lot of people's heads. When you look at the music charts and you look at the top 50 records that's on, the radio and records list right now, I'm looking at and I got to go and Google these songs, Google these artists. I don't even know them. Now, again, I'm a little bit out of the loop, but I don't know these artists. There isn't enough balance that's on the charts. And I like when, and so I'm glad that Eminem came out with an album. It gives people like us who really like hip hop, older, the opportunity to be able to have some music that we still like, especially hip hop, to be able to ride to and to be able to listen to. That to me is important. So Redman, Method Man, we need a Redman and Method Man album. We get a Red and Meth album?
This is my question, though. Because he did a lot of name checking. I mean, he checked, Charlemagne like 3 times. Joe, he checked Academics. He checked Migos. He checked Savage. He checked. I mean, it is. You can just go through and just listen. Anybody who's little anything, he checked you. He Zane, blah 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 blah. Yo. Then he, in fact, did the skit on the record where he's like, "Yo, I think this cat lives in Michigan. I'm on my way over to his house." When he did the skit with Paul on the voicemail, I feel like right now a lot of these young cats out here are it's a different era. They really are showing. They really are pulling up. And could this be good for hip hop that we got like beef that can create records, or could this be bad where some people are really going with the tools?
I think that, I think M needed to come back with the shock factor. I think everybody agrees that
he came at
Revival was a little off to the pop side.
Be careful,
and so I think he'll come. No, I think everybody agrees that and I'm sure he would agree that Revival wasn't as urban, as he wanted to. It wasn't as hip hop. It was very pop. Black radio stations didn't play it. So I think that's just a neutral comment. I think he needed to come back with the shock factor. He needed to come back and show I'm still dope. It's like if LL, when LL came back with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, he's like, oh, wait a minute, let me show y'all I still got skills. Like, don't let this is for my number one. Don't let that fool you. Now I still got some skills out in this street, and I think he needed to come out with that. And I'm glad that he did. Lamont, we're gonna move on. We want to give you a chance to
go ahead, Lamont. Say you don't
one thing.
You like the album at all?
I mean, let me just say rest in peace to Proof, man. I'll just leave it at that.
Rest in peace, Proof.
Because you know what? We wouldn't be having none of this conversation if it wasn't for our guy. You know what I'm saying?
But then one last question. Who did he not diss? I mean, did he come at every last person out there, basically?
So
in the joint that he and Royce did, Royce went nuts on cats. Like I couldn't even speak when I listened to it. The album's dope. There might be one song on it I don't like, and I'm not the biggest M fan, but this album was nuts.
Here's what I will say, Spud, is I feel like I need to get a bigger water bucket for Maynard to hold, because he's trying to hold a lot of the water for Eminem. I mean, it's almost like he's a cheerleader. Almost like we need to put him on staff. You know what I'm saying? You ready to get in the promo game, Maynard?
Did you recognize what that was?
All right, but let's move on. Marshall's that's touchy for me, so we'll leave it.
Speaking of Marshall, 50 Cent died on Power last week.
Allegedly.
Don't care.
Allegedly.
No, 50's gone. 50's out of there.
Allegedly.
No, 50's out of there.
You see,
at the end, 50's out of there.
What very well may happen, the third or fourth episode of the next season, we're going to see that when they walk away.
If 50 Cent gets off of the damn corner's table,
he dropped some money
I'm not watching Power no more.
He dropped the coins on the corner. They made his face up. They all walk away. He gets up.
That's as crazy as Tasha and Tariq is 50 Cent's son.
Oh, you know what? Tasha did go on Instagram, and was like, "No, this and that, and he ain't had no parts of this." And I'm like, "Whatever, man." Here's what I'm gonna say about 50. What I hope is that I hope his character did pass, and I hope he calls John Singleton to get some notes on how to make the next, thing he's gonna make as Stars.
Let me say this.
And hopefully John Singleton will give him some pointers.
I gotta say this. Snowfall is dope. All right. It's cute. All right. It's cute. It ain't dope. Snowfall is, it's cute. Power's dope.
Power's dope.
Neither one of those drug series is beating out Ozark. Ozark is the best drug movie out, series out, period.
People keep talking about that, and I don't.
Ozark is the truth.
Okay.
Watch Ozark, and you will be like, okay, Power's cute, but this Ozark mess,
Yeah.
This is what is really happening. This is real drug moving right here.
I got you.
Jason Bateman, I ain't mad at you, man. You got me hooked. I'm so hooked, I don't even want to watch the rest of it. I want to watch it once a week. I don't even want to binge watch it. Anyways, that was Care or Don't Care, ladies and gentlemen. As we move on before we go, we got to talk about Andrew Gillum and Ron DeSantis. Andrew Gillum is running for governor.
Gillum.
In the state of Gillum, I'm sorry. Gillum is running for the seat for governor. What's your thoughts, Maynard, on Andrew?
Mr. Gillum is an amazing candidate. You know, he's younger than us. He's 39, or maybe he might be 40. He was first elected at age 23 to Tallahassee City Commission, which I guess is more or less like city council. He was still in college when he got elected. So that's kind of, you know, he's very aggressive. What I think is that he has a strong chance because once he won the first time, I think he took 55% of the vote the first time he won. The next 3-4 elections that he was in, he's winning by he's taking 75% of the vote, 72, 70%.
Yeah, but so, man, was that statewide though?
It was not statewide. It was
right.
It was not statewide. I got you. But I think here's a challenge, and I'm glad you brought that up, Lamont. The Republicans came out for their man DeSantis and put him over the top, and they had like 1.7, 1.8 million voters. The boy Gillum he got the people to come out, and the total of the Democratic vote was 1.6 million. So the Republicans, theoretically speaking, have an advantage, except several 100,000 of those voters who voted in the Republican primary, you know, will they show up? Will they show up for DeSantis? I suspect that some of them who did not vote for DeSantis may not. So this is going to be a tough race.
Man, and with all due respect, I know you got the grade A civics.
There you go, talking about my civics class.
I'm just telling you.
Shout out to Edgar Brinkley, 9th grade civics. Mr. Brinkley was my man. He had that. We played Constitutional Jeopardy. Go ahead, Lamont. You guys, what you going to say?
You know, and this is not a diss or a shot to the great state of Florida. Mm-hmm. But what I tell people about Florida is that Florida is a big state outside of Miami Beach.
That's
Florida,
true. Very
true. Florida is a state in certain, you know, towns, townships, counties, cities. They don't know that it's 2018. And I do agree, and I saw some of the statistics, some of the numbers, and I'm with you, but let's not just underestimate the state of Florida and how, you know, in certain parts they still believe in the Confederate flag.
There's Miami, and then there's Southeast Alabama.
And then Southeast Alabama. So my man, you know, I'm very happy that he was able to climb this particular hurdle, and I'm pretty sure that he got some squad.
What was the city that Trump was at when he made that SOB comment? Wasn't that in Florida?
No, I thought that was in Alabama at the time.
Yeah.
I thought he was in Florida. That was right by Alabama or something like that. Maybe I was wrong. Okay. Mm.
Yeah. So I'm just saying, like, you know, I just want to make sure that we don't take that euphoria from the Democratic piece and just kind of make it feel like we okay, because it's a big hill for this brother to climb.
I agree. And that's what I'm pointing out. There's 1.9 million Republicans that voted in the Republican primary, or somewhere about whatever the number was. There were probably somewhere about 200,000 more Republican voters during this primary season than Democratic voters. But I have my suspicions that many of the Republican voters are going to stay home. Did not.
How do you think? I'm just curious.
I think there was a piece of the DeSantis. There's a piece of the Republican contingency that were voting against DeSantis for other candidates because of his alignment with Donald Trump. There were some, and I think that many of them, before voting for a Democrat, will probably just not vote. And that still is, and as we know this much, sometimes your no vote is a vote for the other person. So
yes,
there's a possibility that he could pull this off, and we're excited. He's a very, Florida A&M graduate. You know, the Rattlesnake. You know, God bless HBCUs. We showing up.
What? Why is that? I'm sorry, Spud. I know we probably short on time. Why are we God blessing the HBCUs? What is that about? Do we not God bless, University of Toledo? You know what I'm saying? Or the University of Bowling Green?
My mother is a graduate of a historically black college in Hampton University. I went to a black college at Norfolk State University. The black college experience was critical. They were the only places that many of us could go at all. And the land grant programs that are Delaware State and Cheney and Lincoln and Howard, et cetera, Hampton University are important to the black community, and they're important to America. That's why we bless them. You got a problem with it? I mean, you went to Tennessee State.
Yeah, expand on this, though. Let me go back to Gilliam, though, real quick, because, and thank God we have a plethora of, listeners in Florida. So, this thing is going to come down to, in my opinion, two things, man. You're the, political junkie here. One, money. Two, show up, right? Show up probably is going to be first. But he's going to need money in order to be able to spread outside of that whole Miami area, Dade County. He's going to have to be able to have some money. So for our Florida listeners, what do they need to do to be able to help actually move Andrew Gillum to the finish line? Because, all this excitement is all great. But again, going back to what Jesse Jackson said at Aretha's funeral, it's a shame that we all got lines around the building to see Aretha go to the next life, but we don't got these same lines when it comes to going to the polls. So how do we energize them? What do they need to know about this campaign that's important for them to be able to be excited and understand the importance of them actually showing up in November?
Well, I mean, I feel like you're right. Money is important. We know this much. The Democratic Party kicked in $1 million. We want them to kick in $10 million. I think that the financial support is going to show up soon enough as we get closer to November. That's one. Two, we have got to just stay vigilant in the streets everywhere we are. If we're interested in candidates that support us, that speak to us, that are candidates that we think are better than the other candidates. Sometimes this person isn't the perfect candidate for us, but they just happen to be better than the other candidate. Then we have to go out and vote. We just got to remain vigilant. We got to do what we have to do, which is vote, educate other people about the vote, and take people to vote. If that's what has to happen, if somebody doesn't want to get up and vote, or I don't know, and they have it in the hall and they're on the fence, say, look, I don't know who you're voting for or why you're voting for that person, or who you want to vote for or why you're voting for that, but you have to participate. We can't complain if we don't participate. So that's you
got to do both, in my opinion. Correct me if I'm wrong. You got to do both. Listen, if you go and you pop a bottle this weekend, you go out, you shop, whatever. I know it's back to school, money's tight in the next couple of weeks or whatever. Listen, take $5, give to the man. Donate $20 to the man. Donate, a couple of dollars to him. He needs that money, and then go show up if you want to vote for him, right? If you don't, that's your prerogative. However, but in my opinion, he's gonna need both in order to be able to get through the finish line. I'd hate for him to get all the way there without any success, because I think that if he does win, it will change, Florida for a lot of reasons. And hopefully we can kind of get out of some of that 1964 mentality that a lot of those cities have outside of Miami-Dade County.
But we also got to recognize that whether he wins or doesn't win, whether Stacey Abrams wins or doesn't, or the young lady is running for Senate out of Connecticut, and so many other places where African-American men and women are on the ballots, that something has happened. We have more black and brown candidates around the country running for office, more women as well. More women running for office, and have gotten and secured nominations for those offices than ever before, seemingly. And so we have to understand that the hopelessness that was, oh my God, Donald Trump won, and he's crazy, and we don't understand. That hopelessness is unfounded. The energy that the Democrats, that blacks, that minorities, that women, that gays have embodied and embraced is critical, and we have to build on that. You got to take that fire and then turn it up a notch.
Yeah.
Lamont,
you want to expand or we out?
I don't know, man. I got so much more, brother.
What you got, Lamont? Spud said we can go long.
I don't know. Where we at? Are we good on time?
Yeah.
You got about 5 minutes.
It was just interesting watching John McCain's funeral. Just how different, two different ways of honoring and respecting people who pass on. It's just interesting, bro. That's it. That's all I got.
What's interesting about that?
You know what? I'm
glad you asked, bud.
Okay. Yeah. And you know what I didn't know? I didn't know that the lady from The View was his daughter. I don't know why I didn't put two and two together, right? Why are you holding your head down, man? What's wrong? I mean, The View gets millions and millions of viewers every week.
I know. That's exactly the reason why I'm holding my head down. Millions and millions of Americans knew this. And
but here's what I thought was funny. I noticed that Whoopi wasn't up in John McCain's funeral. But Whoopi was over there on 7 Mile.
Was she on 7 Mile?
Yeah, she was at Greater Grace.
Well, then she was doing what she came to do.
Yeah. And you know what we need to do? We need to shout out the cast of The Have and the Have-Nots.
Why? They gonna be on the show or something?
No.
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 Why we give them a shout out?
Because they were at Aretha's funeral from the beginning. They was at Shane Park the night before. I heard they was at Steve's Soul Food.
Hey, shout out to Tyler Perry though. Tyler Perry represented.
I'm trying to tell you, man. Tyler.
I don't know about the have and have-nots, but I give Tyler Perry some love.
I hear you, and maybe they was there because they're trying to work on season 3. Who knows? You know what I'm saying? But look at Maynard. If it's not anything with civics class, Maynard just checks out. But that's fine.
No. Shout out to Jim and David. We got to get with her.
Who was that?
No, don't worry about it. Just let her. We just out here letting her know that we have not forgotten that we have to have a conversation with her real soon.
She work with Oprah?
No, she's gonna be working with us.
Is she?
Yeah.
Oh, is she?
Mm-hmm. That's what I let y'all know. I'm really tired of y'all making decisions without me.
Hell, I don't know who it is either, so he made the decision on his own.
No, actually, what I was trying to do is just derail this whole shout out to the Have and Have Not crew and the Tyler Perry.
But here's a.
Now give him some love if that was there. I mean, Tyler Perry was there to the end. He sat through Reverend Jasper's, Pastor Jasper's, long, 1 hour.
Say that again, Spud.
Sermon. Pastor Jasper.
Yo, dog, I was so hating on him. But no, Maynard, why is it that you have this euphoric tone when we talk about this potential governor of Florida, but when we switch to the cast of the have and have-nots, we have to derail the conversation?
Hey, listen, let's celebrate Aretha's life. That has come and she has gone, and we have got to honor and celebrate her. And I think we honor and celebrate her and her voice of freedom and her voice of America by embracing what America can be when we find the right candidates to run the states around this country. So right. I mean, the voice of freedom, the voice of America is we have got to find people in America who will run the country the way that we think is best. And I think people think that Andrew Gillum is that person. So
who's in your neck? Who's in Virginia that people should support?
Yeah.
Oh, let's see. Well, Kenny Alexander is my mayor, young black man, and I think there's a lot of aspiration around Kenny. He very well could be our next governor. Terry Ralph Northam.
He's on the ballot.
No, we're not up yet. Ralph Northam. We don't really have a big election this year. I guess it's the main thing.
In Michigan. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. In Michigan, who?
Michigan. For me, it's got to be Gretchen Whitmer. She's the only one who's on the ballot. She's going up against Bill Schuette. So I'm supporting Gretchen Whitmer. Whitmer. I actually really honestly, it's Brenda Jones for the 13th Congressional. That's where John Conyers were. There's two people that's in that seat that's, battling it for November. And that's Rashida Tlaib and Brenda Jones. Either one I'm fine with. I prefer Rashida Tlaib because I like her better than Brenda Jones. A lot of people think that Brenda Jones is I don't know the word, but that's she's on the Mayor Duggan team, which I don't necessarily have a problem with, but a lot of people have a problem with, with that. Mayor Duggan, who actually said that they're going to rename Shane Park to Aretha Franklin Park, and I was a little disappointed that, Bishop Ellis said, oh, the mayor just got him 4 more years. That was a nice little seed to drop for when he's up for re-election again. But those are the people that I think are important, in Michigan. We out now?
No, I still got one more thing.
Okay, good. Is that the alarm to go, or?
That's the Obama phone. Hold on a second. Hold on.
Stop stealing that one.
I'll tell you what. The crazy.
Okay, we good. No, we good. No. I told you we good. So here's my question.
That was almost as funny as that's a drug dog.
Yo, why y'all playing? That is the Obama phone, bro. I'm telling you. Yeah, I told you. I'm in Chicago, so whatever. We got them people later on. But why is it that I never hear them talk about Aretha's mom? It was always about Dad. Why is that?
I don't know. He was a pastor in church, right?
Yeah, New Bethel.
And he moved.
He was down with Martin was his man.
I thought that they divorced and that he raised them, right?
I gotta go back and look. I do know that Mom passed away. You know what I'm saying? And there were some issues allegedly, and it's not about being dirty or whatever. Again, I just think it's about understanding someone's whole spectrum and not just think. But I think, Daddy was supposed to have been out here in these streets a little bit, you know what I'm saying? And Mama wasn't having it. But I just always hear this reverence towards Daddy, and I never hear it towards Mama.
Why are you doing gossip? Why are you smearing the man's name?
No, it's not.
Why are you being a patty? Why are you being a chatty right now? Why
hold on.
Patty.
Why are you on the gossip folks right now? Why does it matter? Reverend C.L. Franklin is a legend in these streets.
Okay, but why we don't talk about Mama? Why we don't talk about Mama? Most people don't even know Mama's name.
Let Mama live her life. She's gone on to the next life. Right. It don't matter about the Mama. Now, you done came and you was talking about, what's the girl's name? Cardi B and all those people, they got their drama from, talking about Martin Luther King. Hold on. They was on TMZ talking about Martin Luther King was a hoe. Now you out here talking about Reverend C.L. Franklin was in these streets. Let Reverend C.L. Franklin live. They all was in these streets. They was all in these streets.
Yeah, they probably was.
That's how they build congregations, ain't it?
Here's all I'm going to say. And I'm going to need you to do me this favor on the podcast. I'm going to send you an article that I wrote.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of Three Black Guys. We'll do it again next time. I'm just kidding.
No, I'm just saying, I didn't know until I did the research that Mama's name was Barbara. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we just act like...
What does this matter?
Because we just can't always talk about Reverend C.L. without talking about Mama. We don't respect our mamas?
Okay.
All right, I'm done.
All right.
I love you, Mama.
Rest in peace to Aretha Franklin and her mama.
Thank you. And her daddy.
And her daddy.
That's all I'm asking for.
Good Lord, man.
As Maynard's trying to strategize how he gonna help win the great state of Florida. It ain't happening, Maynard. I know you want that blick.
Oh my gosh. What's the matter with you today?
No, I mean, I listen, Sean King said we need to make a donation, and I did. I got the receipt. You know what I'm saying? I get my tax deductions up. You know what I'm saying? But that ain't happening. This is not. But go ahead, I'm ready.
No, keep hope alive, huh?
I don't listen, bro. Florida?
The new Eminem album is dope. Lamont.
All right. We out, ladies and gentlemen. We'll do it again next Tuesday. Thank you so very much for listening to this episode of Three Black Guys with the Mic. Do us a favor. Tell 3 people about this podcast. Share it on your Facebook page, on your Instagram page, on your YouTube page, wherever. Grab yourself a T-shirt. Go to 3blackguyswiththemic.com. You can get yourself a T-shirt. Join the conversation on our Facebook page at facebook.com/3blackguyswiththemic. We'll do it again next Tuesday right here. Have a great week. Holla.